Good morning. I am in Phoenix with the Nikon ZF 40mm. Today, it's 8:15. It's almost 90 degrees. I woke up at 5:30. I thought, I'm gonna get out there early, get started, and I just struggled a little bit this morning to get motivated. And that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about while I'm walking, to get some shots. Motivation, that's the thing. Creative minds need a different type of energy to get motivated, and I have been struggling to get out of the house. I was like, oh, it's such a nice morning, I'm just gonna enjoy it, stay home, watch some football. But no, it's a nice day. Get outside, get some photography. Even if you walk the city a million times, what's the problem? Get out and do some stuff. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna shoot with the ZF. I haven't shot with it in a while because I've been using the Q3. So let's get started. All right, see ya. But to expand further on that, basically what I'm trying to say is, we all struggle with being creative at times and making sure I don't get run over. And it's okay. It's okay because, you get fatigued, you get tired. I know when I go out and I shoot all day, I am exhausted. I can't edit the photos. I don't really feel, I'm tired when I get home, even if I'm not in the heat or if I'm not walking around as much as I typically do. It's mentally stimulating and it gets you tired. So, struggling to get that creative mojo to get out and shoot, it's not always easy to get it, And this morning I woke up and I was raring to go last night. This morning I was just not feeling it. So I watched some YouTube videos for some of my favorite people, got me a little bit inspired, and here I am, even though it's almost 90 degrees. Could have been out here when it was much cooler, but here I am. And I'm gonna get out and get some shots. There's the farmer's market over here. And let's see what happens. All right, that brings me to another point that I want to make. And if you don't feel like coming out to shoot, a lot of people tell you don't come out, but if you can muster up the energy to come out, by the time you get out here, you're going to be excited and you're going to see shots and you're going to forget all about that demotivation. So sometimes just pull up your bootstraps and get out here. Oh man, it's already hot out here. I had to turn the hat backwards because I like shooting like this. I don't like shooting with the screen. Most of the time the screen is like this, turned in so I don't see it, just like a film camera. But anyhow, I wanted to talk about golden hour. A lot of new photographers hear about this golden hour time and they're like, that's when I gotta go out. That's when I gotta do stuff. And that's not always the case. I see this lady walking with this cool building in the backdrop, so I'm gonna... And that's not always the case. Like with street photography, you're dealing with tall buildings, you're downtown, you're in a place where golden hour doesn't really work for you. You need to get out when the sun's a little higher, when the light's cutting through the streets, when you got dynamic light. And so, something you need to consider if you're coming out here doing street photography, it's golden hour. Doesn't matter. But you want to come out around, I'd say a couple hours after golden hour until midday, and then in the evening take a break when it's hot. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. See, I am completely in the shade right now, and where the train's at, it's completely in the sun. And that creates that dynamic contrast that I'm talking about. So this is what you're looking for when you're doing street photography, not necessarily golden hour, in my opinion. There is another example of what I'm talking about. Really good dynamic light. Find the subject walking through it. Sometimes it'll turn out good. The backdrop isn't, the background here isn't necessarily the coolest, but worth a couple shots and we'll see what happens. That's what I mean, like this is how the light cuts through, but you gotta wait for it to come up a little bit longer. I have tried to include that in my photograph I don't know how many times, and I've never been able to get a good composition out of it. I'm gonna try again. Nikon autofocus, don't mess with me. All right, let's see what that turns out to look like. All right, here's another good example, and to achieve this and get a clean look, I'm using blocking. I'm using this pole right here to block the messiness of the scene. We got the dynamic light coming through from the sun. Interesting subject walks through. Bada bing, bada boom. Pretty cool building in the background too. And here's yet another example how the light is dynamic. There's this pocket of light that comes through the streets and kind of lights this up like a spotlight almost. It's pretty cool. I like the leading lines, the negative space, everything kind of points towards it. If I had an interesting subject walk through, it'd be amazing. Now it is early in the morning, so I might have to wait a little bit because Phoenix isn't crowded like other cities, but just another good example of what the dynamic light and how you can help paint your subject, and it also provides some leading lines as well. Alright, so I've been out here for a little bit. I've been getting some decent shots. I really want to keep harping on pockets of light, guys. Pockets of light. See, that's the key. When you're doing street photography, the pockets of light will create leading lines for you. It'll highlight your subject. It'll make it easier for them to see what you're shooting, and it'll bring focus to your subject. So, street photography, pockets of light. All right, I want to further expand on that. So when it comes to pocket of light, how do you get the light? How do you find the light? Tips and tricks. Well, you know, you got to look at which direction the light is shooting. There are going to be tall buildings and roads, and the light's going to be shooting down the roads. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, I don't want to get run over, sorry. You're going to want to walk perpendicular to the sun. And basically, as you get to each cross section, each intersection, you're going to have that light come through. And then another trick is to walk towards the sun. So turn down one of those alleys and walk toward the sun. Shooting into the sun softens the image a little bit, and it's shooting with the sun, your subject tends to be super overexposed and super over highlighted and over most of the time blown out. And you have to stop way down. Now I like to do that. I like that shot sometimes. Alright guys, I think that's it for this outing. It's still getting too hot to be out here, and the sweat is annoying. So heading back to watch some football. I think my Gamecocks are currently beating LSU. We shall see what happens. Every time I get my hopes up, they disappoint me. So I don't know why I continue doing it. Alright, so anyway, heading out, heading back, and I will catch you on the next video. Alright, that's it. See ya. Peace. Yeah.